So you want to learn how to crochet without a pattern? Then let's get into step 2 of my tutorial on how you are going to crochet every summer top you have ever wanted without a pattern. Hello and welcome back to my yarn channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexandra and I taught myself how to crochet, and in this video I will teach you how you can teach yourself how to crochet without a pattern. So let's get into part 2 of this series. So we have already crocheted 2 cups, and if you haven't done that, then you should do that first and then come back to this video, because here I'm assuming you already have 2 cups. So now it's time for the really fun part where you can get real creative. So in step 2, I'm going to go through 3 different variations of tops which you can create. And if you have this knowledge of these 3 different tops, I would say that you have the knowledge to be able to improvise any top your heart desires, or pretty much. So let's get into the first way. Basically, what we are going to do in every of these steps is that we are going to crochet a rectangle. And you can do this pretty much any type of way you want, but the most basic ways would be diagonally. So here you chain as many as you need for your desired length of the cup, so how long it should be, like down here. So you can use any stitch you want, but you are basically going to chain this chain, which is going to be the length, and then you are going to crochet back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all the way until you have a rectangle which are going to measure like around yourself, but you're going to leave like 10 to 15 centimeters in the back. The second way of creating this rectangle would be horizontally. So then you would just chain as many as you need for the chain to reach around you, but leave 10 to 15 centimeters in the back. So then you would just chain back and forth again until you have the desired length of this rectangle. And when you have decided on which of these 2 variations you're going to do, you can decide on what colors you want. You can switch the colors up, like doing stripes this way or doing stripes this way, or you could even do like some type of stitch variation, which are going to be flowers, or it could be whatever. So here you can experiment all you want. So the next step would be to crochet your rectangle and your 2 cups together. And this you can do just with a darning needle, and you're going to just do like the 2 cups on the rectangle, and you're going to put in between the cups, you are going to have the middle of the rectangle, so it will be symmetrical. You can also just sew it together with a crochet hook. You can do any type of way you want, but I would prefer to do it with a darning needle. I find that easier. So then just sew your cups in the middle of the rectangle. You can see on the video here. It's not that serious. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just so they will attach. The last step would be to make the straps in the back. So you could do this by just chaining a bunch of stitches and then you have your strap there. But you could also do chains and then single crochet on the way back, so you have like a thicker strap. Or you could experiment here as well and do like a braid or whatever your heart desires. And to attach the straps, you can also get real creative. I will show you some variations here on the screen. And yeah, the most basic one would be like the zigzag pattern, I guess. But you can also just do like whatever with bows everywhere or something like that. And also you can do like X in the back or without that. You can do whatever. Just make it fit right for you. It's time for the second top variation. So this is pretty similar, but in this variation we are doing the rectangle with granny squares. So you just need to crochet as many granny squares as you need for the top to reach all the way around you and leave some in the back as before. You basically do the exact same as before, but this time your rectangle is going to be made of granny squares. You can vary this by doing like rows of granny squares, so the length is different. So just crochet as many granny squares as you need to make the perfect rectangle for this top. And the fun part with the granny squares is that there's so many different variations of granny squares out there. So you can just make like flower patterns or smileys or whatever. You know, there's so many granny squares variation. It's a very easy way to like do something different with the top, so it has some patterns, and yeah, it's a fun way. I'm definitely making a video in the future where I try different granny squares. That's something I really have wanted to do, so maybe then you can get some inspiration on your granny square tops. But you then have to sew these granny squares together. You can make that with a crochet hook just by slip stitching, or you can also just do this with a darning needle as we did before. So that's completely up to you, and it's really simple. I'm sure there's a lot of tutorials out there on how to attach granny squares together, but I can also show you a little clip here. Here are some examples of these kind of tops. It's time for the last variation, and this is actually my favorite variation, I think. So for this variation, you're going to do a rectangle again, or like the exact same way, except this time it's going to fit around you all the way. So you're not leaving like the centimeters in the back. But don't do it too loose. So make sure you're making it fit tightly, because if you're making it too loose, it's not gonna give you the support you need up here. So make sure you're doing it like kind of tightly. Then you will sew these cups you have on the outer edges of this rectangle. And then you're just adding your straps in between here, and also just something so you can tie it around your neck. And you can play around with all of these variations regarding color, patterns, stitches. Here are just a bunch of examples of different tops you can make with these 3 variations. So that's how you are going to crochet pretty much any summer top you have ever wanted with cups. But maybe you're thinking, what should I do if I want to crochet a summer top without cups? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to the next episode, because then I'm going to show you how you are going to crochet every summer top you have ever wanted, but without cups. So more like this top or this top. I'll see you then. Bye!